I've got a quote here. Dreams didn't make us kings. Dragons did. What do we really think about this quote? And of course, from the Targaryen perspective, do we agree with that quote or disagree? What are your thoughts? Let's go to Solar first, since he kept talking about the dragons.
It's actually funny because being an avid reader of the lore, I call BS on that. If not for Daenerys the Dreamer, they would have stayed in Valyria and got swallowed up by volcanoes. So, but on the other hand, it has merit because the Valyrians, they also left before the Doom, and they're not kings. So, you know, they're a little bit from column A, a little bit from column B, but don't take the dreams off the table. It was prophetic dreams that got them the colonized Dragonstone in the first place, you know?
Fair enough.
So,
Uzma?
I agree with Solar. I think it depends on which kind of dream he's talking about. If he's just talking about the ambitions, then yeah, dragons played a big part of that. But if he's talking about the prophetic dreams, if these are those dreams, I agree that without the dreams, the Targaryens won't even have been alive, let alone be kings. So without the dreams, they couldn't have been kings.
Yeah. Constance, your turn.
I'm kind of the same opinion. The ambition only goes so far, right? You can have the idea of uniting the seven kingdoms under one banner, one throne, but unless you've got the literal firepower to pull it off, your ambitions will get you nowhere. I mean, it did kind of work in latter years with the Lannister dynasty that they established, but that was through a lot of manpower and manipulation and scheming. And we all saw what happened when the actual dragon went up against the Lannisters. And that kind of solidified that even with all of that, without the dragon, they couldn't have pulled off their power play.
And even when they were pulling off their power play, they never actually controlled all seven kingdoms.
No, not really. Everything, because the North broke away and Dorne kind of did their own thing. And yeah.
Nobody controls the south side of any territory.
All right, Sam, what do you think?
I'm going to have to say I think that I agree with that quote. I do think the dragons, without the dragons, they weren't going to be kings. You know, we can say that Dany's got them there, but the dragons are the ones that kind of got him the kingdom, I think. Like, you look back, like the Field of Fire, you know, Balerion basically just wiped out entire families. So, yeah, I would say that it's a pretty accurate quote, I would say. Yeah. Morgan, what do you think?
I have to go with the dragons here. No matter what the dreams were, no matter what they were, the Targaryens would not have had the ability to conquer. The sheer force that they were up against was insurmountable, considering how much force they had to bring to the field without the dragons.
Mm-hmm.
They needed armies even with the dragons, but without the dragons, their armies would have been toast. Like, they were crunchy small compared to the other kingdoms.
And they didn't know the territory either, because they were all imported. They didn't know anything about the terrain or about the survivability or any of those, you know, wonderful little details that makes an army successful.
They had one significant advantage, which was that all of their enemies weren't friends. They were going up against a whole bunch of different kings who didn't who weren't all one unified nation, unlike, say, the Lannisters, who were trying to deal with people who had been one kingdom before. But with the Targaryens, it was a bunch of smaller kingdoms, but even still, those smaller kingdoms are not at the scale of kingdoms in the medieval era. They were massive, thousands and thousands of troops, easily, readily deployable. Yeah, without the dragons, they were screwed. That's my official statement.
I'm glad you brought up the scale, because that's something that's really easy to overlook when you're looking at Game of Thrones without a history of studying medieval warfare. Westeros is big. All of their castles are huge. Like, Winterfell is double the size of Downing Street or Buckingham. and Harrenhal is so big that it can't be taken care of. Like they just don't have a staff that size. So, you know what? You guys are convincing me. I'm changing my mind on that. Because, just thinking about what Morgan said, like I'm seeing like Dreams didn't give us maps of this big place. Dragons did.
Yes. With the dragon, you've got the tactical advantage not only of the fire breathing, but aerial scouting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Literal
Distance.
air power. What have we learned in modern warfare? Whoever controls the air wins the war pretty consistently. With a few exceptions, but pretty consistently. And just as far as scale goes, I'm gonna point this out. Westeros is designed like England, Britain. However, it is the size of a continent. So they took all of England and expanded it to like 50 times the size. And that's just how we got Westeros, I guess. All right.
Technically make Scotland the North.
Yes. What do you think? What do you think the wall is? It's Hadrian's Wall. Scotland is the North.
On a giant scale. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So